On Father's Day, I received a card and my son made me read it out loud. Roses are red, violets are blue. You're a useless old fool. We wish you'd just drop dead. Everyone burst into laughter at my expense. My name is Harold. I'm 76 years old, and that was the deepest cut of betrayal I'd ever felt in my long life. It was a bright Sunday afternoon. The sunlight poured through the bay windows of my son Robert's spacious suburban home as I pulled up in my old pickup truck to celebrate the day. I was dressed in my best blue button-down shirt. The one that always made me feel respectable, like the hardworking man I'd been all my years. I'd brought homemade apple pies baked from scratch using my late wife's recipe and a bag of toys for my grandchildren. Grandpa Harry, the youngest, yelled, dashing out to meet me with open arms. Their enthusiastic embraces warmed my soul, making me forget the aches in my joints for a brief moment. Everything felt right with the world. Sarah, my daughter-in-law, gave me a curt wave from the porch, her expression as warm as a winter frost. Robert emerged from the garage, wiping his hands on a rag, offering a half-hearted "Hey, Dad," without even looking up. "Glad you could make it. We've got something special planned for you." We gathered in the family room, me sinking into the worn armchair while the grandkids clustered around my knees, buzzing with excitement. Sarah fetched a blue envelope from the mantel and handed it to me with a smirk. "This is from the whole family. Dad, read it aloud so we can all enjoy it." My fingers, gnarled from years of manual labor, fumbled slightly as I tore open the seal. The card featured crude stick figure drawings. The kids had scribbled little hearts and balloons. How thoughtful, I mused, my heart swelling. I cleared my throat and began in my gravelly voice, full of anticipation. "Roses are red, violets are blue, .. My words faltered. The next line slammed into me like a freight train. "You're a useless old fool. We wish you'd just drop dead. Your stories are boring. Your help is a pain. Pack up your junk and never come back again. Signed, your family who's tired of your crap." The room went dead silent for what felt like an eternity, maybe 5 agonizing seconds. Then Sarah let out a sharp, mocking cackle. Robert joined in, slapping his knee as if it were the funniest thing he'd ever heard. Even the children, too young to grasp the cruelty, started chuckling along, mimicking their parents' glee. "Oh man, Dad, your face was priceless," Robert gasped, wiping tears of laughter from his eyes. "Sarah, did you snap a photo? We need to frame that." My chest tightened, and hot tears blurred my vision. The card slipped from my grasp, fluttering to the carpet like a discarded piece of trash. "It's just a prank, Harold," Sarah said, still giggling. "Lighten up. You've always been such a stick in the mud." Robert scooped up the card, waving it dismissively. "Yeah, Dad, we were messing around. But seriously, ... You've been hanging around a lot lately. Maybe it's time to think about other arrangements." "Other arrangements?" I whispered, my voice cracking like dry timber. "You know," Sarah chimed in, perching on the arm of the sofa across from me, "retirement homes, assisted living spots, places with folks your age. You'd fit right in. Get the care you need." The term assisted living echoed in my mind like a prison sentence, my own flesh and blood treating me like expired goods. "But I thought we were here to celebrate Father's Day," I stammered, barely audible. "We are, Dad," Robert replied condescendingly. "But let's be real. You're not getting any younger. We can't drop everything for you anymore. We've got our own stuff going on." The grandkids stared at me, puzzled. The middle one, just 7, tugged at my sleeve. "Grandpa, why are you sad?" Before I could respond, Sarah yanked her away. "He's fine, sweetie. Grandpa's just being emotional. Like always." I sat there, the weight of isolation crushing me harder than any physical burden I'd carried in my youth. On the day meant to honor my role as a father, my son had turned me into a punchline, a laughingstock in my own family. I rose unsteadily, my knees protesting. "I think I'll head home." "Sure, Dad," Robert said without standing. "We'll catch up soon." I shuffled to the door, holding on to what little pride I had left, but inside, I was shattered. That evening, alone in my quiet bungalow, I wept until exhaustion claimed me. Yet, amid the pain, a spark ignited a resolve that had slumbered for far too long. It was time for them to discover who Harold truly was. The following morning, I blocked their numbers, but first, I needed to trace the path that led to this heartbreak. I settled into my old leather recliner, the same one where I'd bounced, Robert on my knee, as a toddler, and let the memories wash over me like waves on a stormy sea. It began when I was 31. Robert's mother passed away from cancer when he was just 5, leaving us both adrift in grief. I remember holding him that first night, his small body racked with sobs, asking why mommy wasn't coming back. She's in a better place, son, I murmured, vowing he'd never want for anything. And I honored that vow. I took on extra shifts at the auto plant for 18 grueling years. My back still bears the scars from lifting heavy parts day in and day out. Every overtime dollar went toward Robert's future. When he was 18 and dreamed of engineering school, I cashed in my life insurance policy, the only nest egg I had. Dad, you can't do this, he protested weakly. Absolutely I can, I replied, eyes fierce with determination. Your dreams come first. Through his 4 years of college, I moonlighted as a mechanic on weekends, coming home grease-stained and bone-tired. But seeing him poring over textbooks at the kitchen table made it all worthwhile. At his graduation, tears streamed down my face as he hugged me. We made it, Dad. Couldn't have without you. Soon after, he met Sarah. She seemed ambitious, sharp-witted, and smitten with him. I approved wholeheartedly. For their wedding, I covered the venue and catering, $15,000 scraped together from savings. This is way too generous, Dad, Robert said. Nonsense. I chuckled. You deserve the best start. When they bought their dream house, I fronted the $30,000 down payment, emptying my retirement fund. Watching them move in, beaming with joy, filled me with quiet contentment. Then came the grandchildren, 3 bundles of energy who lit up my world. When Sarah went back to her job as a teacher, I stepped in as the unpaid nanny. For 4 years, I'd drive across town at dawn, rain or shine, to their place. I'd whip up pancakes, pack lunches, ferry them to school, help with homework, and have dinner simmering by evening. The house sparkled when they returned. Dad, you're a lifesaver, Robert would say back then. We'd be lost without you. But slowly, the gratitude faded. My suggestions like taking the eldest to the doctor for his ear infections were dismissed as meddling. Dad, we're the parents here, Sarah snapped once. I bit my tongue, assuming I'd overstepped. Then the barbs crept in. Harold, you don't have the stamina for this anymore. Dad, you mixed up the kids' schedules again, maybe, stay home and rest. Still, I persisted, helping, giving. 3 years ago, when Robert got laid off from his engineering firm, I started wiring them $600 monthly to keep the mortgage paid. Just till I bounce back, he promised. He landed a new gig 8 months later, but the wires continued, unquestioned, as if entitled. When the kids needed laptops for online school during the pandemic, I shelled out $2,500. Sarah's minivan breakdown, $5,000 from me. Their backyard renovation, another $10,000. Bit by bit, I became the invisible benefactor, footing bills while being sidelined from family joys. A year back, Robert threw a surprise anniversary party for Sarah. I learned about it from a grandchild's slip. Why wasn't I invited? I asked over the phone. Oh, Dad, it was intimate, just us and a few friends. You'd have been out of place. But Facebook photos showed 25 guests, including Sarah's extended family. Everyone but me. I wept alone that night, chalking it up to a mistake. Mistakes multiplied, forgotten birthdays, canceled visits, annoyed sighs at my arrivals. The breaking point hit 4 months ago. I overheard Sarah on a call in their kitchen while I chopped veggies for dinner. Yeah, my father-in-law's becoming a real drag. Clingy, you know, not ill, but at his age. We're scouting senior facilities to park him in. I froze, knife mid, my own family plotting to warehouse me like obsolete machinery. That insomnia-fueled night, I tallied my sacrifices. I'd poured my life, savings, love into them only to be discarded, but they were blind to my secret. My father, before passing, bequeathed me a lakeside cabin in Vermont, rented out for decades, with proceeds piling in an untouched account. Plus, savvy investments from my uncle's mutual funds, CDs totaling nearly $500,000. They saw me as a penniless widower scraping by on Social Security. Unaware, I'd subsidized their luxuries out of pure devotion. Post-Father's Day humiliation snapped my chains. I clutched that vile card till dawn, grief morphing to steel resolve. I wasn't the fool, I was their foundation. Rising, I fetched my steel lockbox from the attic, sifting through statements, titles, portfolios. Mental math revealed. Over 6 years, $82,000 gifted. Down payment, $30,000. Wedding, $15,000. Monthly aid, $14,400. Laptops, $2,500 bun and $5,000 on reno. $10,000 miscellany, $5,100. Meanwhile, I drove my rusty mended my own clothes, clipped coupons. What stung deepest were the attitude shifts. Recall the youngest soccer tournament last fall. I'd arrived early to set up snacks. As usual, Robert answered the door irritably. Dad, game's not till noon. Truck, mended my own clothes, clipped coupons. What stung deepest were the attitude shifts. Recall the youngest's soccer tournament last fall. I'd arrived early to set up snacks. As usual, Robert answered the door irritably. Dad, game's not till noon. Why so soon? Thought I'd lend a hand. I offered. We've got it covered. Sarah's mom is helping. Peering in, I saw her arranging coolers. I was relegated to spectator. You can wait in the car if you want, he muttered. At the game, I lingered on the sidelines while they cheered from prime seats. No one included me in victory photos. Later, the middle grandkid whispered, Grandpa, why didn't you sit with us? Grandma Ellen said you're too slow for sports now. Ellen, barely younger than me, poisoning my grandkids' minds. Yet, I kept funding, hoping for change. How naive. Then last Thanksgiving, I'd splurged $4,000 on gifts. A gaming console for the eldest, dolls for the youngest, a designer watch for Robert, spa vouchers for Sarah. Arrived laden with packages. Kids thrilled briefly before Sarah herded them. Stack M with the rest wheel open tomorrow. My offerings vanished in the pile. Unwrapping. No acknowledgements. Worse, I'd included a family heirloom for Robert, my father's pocket watch, engraved with generations' initials. Cool, Dad, he said, tossing it aside unexamined. But I use my phone for time now. Maybe pawn it or something. I'd envisioned him cherishing it, passing it down. Instead, indifference. Alone that night, I cradled the watch, sobbing. Not the value, the dismissal of heritage. The flu episode 2 months prior sealed it. Bedridden with 103 fever. Shivering, I called Robert for groceries or a check-in. Dad, we're swamped. Sarah's got parent-teacher conferences. I'm traveling for work. Call a service. Son, I'm too weak to move. Come on, you're tough. It's just the flu. Handle it. He didn't follow up. My neighbor, old Mr. Patel, at 80, brought meds and meals. A near stranger showed more humanity than my blood. Recovering, I resumed visits. They acted oblivious. Now, documents spread before me. Truth dawned. I was their cash cow. Not kin. Needed for funds. Babysitting. Fixes but love. Care. Vanished. That night, I decided. Logged into banking. Cancelled $600 transfers. Closed joint account. Revised will assets to a veterans charity honoring my service. Set grandkids trusts. Accessible at 30 with proven bonds to me. Finally, booked a flight to Vermont. Time to claim my cabin. Start anew. But first, ensure they felt the loss. Wednesday dawned crisp. I donned my sharp navy suit from Robert's graduation, applied aftershave, combed my silver hair. Looked the empowered man I was. Not the pushover they perceived. Bank first. Advisor Ms. Patel blinked at my early arrival. Mr. Harold, what's up? Major overhauls. 2 hours. Transfers halted. Accounts severed. Investments liquidated. Certain? She queried. Nevermore. Lawyer Mr. Gomez next. Family handler for years. Rewrite my will entirely. Concern etched his face. Harold. Trouble. Clarity. Detailed changes. Charity inheritance. Conditional grandkid trusts. Sleep on it. Slept enough years. Signed boldly. Travel agent. Vermont flight. Friday. Vacation. Rebirth. First class ticket style for my fresh start. Home by lunch. I penned letters on fine stationery. To Robert. Son, by this reading, I'm en route to my Vermont cabin, inherited, unknown to you. All 8 ends. Monthly wires gone. Joint account closed. Not revenge, but overdue independence lesson. Gave you my all-time funds. Love, but you DM'd me burdensome. Father's Day card. Final insult. But erosion started long ago. From mother to maid to a TM. Will redirected to those valuing kindness. Kids trusts at 30, with genuine ties proven. Seek not cash, nor return. Prove worth for the father back. Your dad, self-valuing at last. Harold. To Sarah, Sarah saw you as daughter. You cast me as nuisance. Overheard your facility plot like discarding trash. But my place was always mine. Cabin, investments yielding more than your salaries. Funded your ease from love, misread as frailty. Now learn my absence. Envelope sealed, left prominent. In my den, I smiled. Took 76 years. But lesson learned. You set treatment standards by acceptance. I'd tolerated scraps fearing solitude. But solitude trumped disrespect. Now, free. Vermont bound, excited, finally, for tomorrow.